Maybe I'm wrong, okay? Maybe I'm over analyzing this, or maybe this is a fan theory from me. But when I watched this latest trailer of Christopher Nolan's Tenet, I was always excited, pretty much intrigued. But apart from that, I also felt there's so much similarity in terms of narrative, in terms of cinematography when you see in the trailer with Inception, Interstellar, or Dark Knight trilogy. Like I said, maybe I'm wrong, but I cannot ignore that instinct or feeling that I'm getting. This is a kind of a trailer. When I watched it, I felt like there is something bigger at play with this film. Maybe this is a film which is not an isolated film like Interstellar or Inception of Nolan. He's actually trying to combine all these films narrative with this movie. Like I said, maybe I'm wrong, maybe this is ridiculous, but let's just explore. See, we don't know much about the narrative, what exactly this film is. Maybe this is about spy, maybe about this is about extraction or whatever it is. But we don't know exactly through the trailer what the narrative is. See, if you see Inception, through the trailer they had shown that this is about dream and they are trying to build something or steal something. Even in Interstellar, we know that the world is dying and this is about time bending and finding new planets. So at least till that point they were pretty much clear. But in Tenet, through even with two trailers, they are not pretty much clear. They deliberately are not showing the plot exactly what it is, what they are trying to say, what they are trying to do here. So they are pretty much mysterious. So that's why I'm pretty much you know sure, maybe sure. Of course, I have my doubts, but I'm thinking that this is going to be related to all of Nolan's previous films. Now there are some scenes. See, if you have watched the trailer, the latest trailer that has been released today, at least watch 5 or 6 times before you watch this video. There are some scenes where they have reference to Nolan's previous films in terms of cinematography, the setting, or also in terms of dialogue or narrative. Okay, now this is not a film about time travel. Mostly it is about time inversion. So time flows backwards or something. So in Memento, the film storytelling was not non-linear; it was anti-linear. So maybe there's a reference. The protagonist, see the way the treatment has been given in the trailer, it really looks like he's like a cop from Inception. His personality, the way he's trying to steal information or go back in time and trying to stop something. He looks like like cop from Inception. Then there is Michael Caine, the first interaction of Michael Caine that happens with John David Washington. It looks like in Inception when Cobb had his first interaction with Michael Caine when he was trying to recruit Ariadne. So a kind of similarity. Then there's also a dialogue where he can communicate with the future. There's this dialogue in Tenet's trailer, in recent trailer. See, Cooper was also able to try communicate with the future in Interstellar. That's how he comes to know about how he can use time as a variable, not as a constant. You know. Then there's also dialogue where Robert Pattinson asks time travel, and Washington says no, inversion, the time inversion. So it seems like an Interstellar. Then if you see the road action that is happening in the trailer, it seems pretty much like Inception. When they go into the third level of dream, and all the action that is happening, cars colliding with each other, and action that is happening, it pretty much seems like the setting and cinematography. It seems like pretty much like Inception. There's also a dialogue in the trailer when they say this is where our worlds collide. No, this is very deep statement. I don't say this is where like a universe of Nolan, where Inception, Interstellar, Memento, Dark Knight, all this narrative of these films. This is where Tenet is where all these narratives or all these films collide. So maybe there's a bigger play here. See, Nolan is a visionary. He can actually do that. That all his films he bring together, and these films actually takes in all these approaches like Interstellar's time bending or time using time as a variable in a dimension, so they can go forward or backward in time. Then there's also Memento, anti-linear storytelling, Inception's extraction, going into someone's dream or someone's life and changing some things. So all these things come together in Tenet. There's a future where these all things are capable. This is where our worlds collide. There is also a pretty peculiar scene where Kenneth Branagh he asks Washington, "How would you like to die?" And he says, "Old." If you see this setting, the lightning of the scene is pretty much dim with yellow lighting. This is exactly the scene in Inception, where in the end, Cobb, like Leonardo DiCaprio, asks Zaito that I'm here to bring you back. We don't want to we want to die old. That scene where they're in limbo. So pretty much similar to that. Okay. There's also orchestra. I think it is second last or third last scene where orchestra. There's a whole big giant orchestra that is happening, and these SWAT kind of people are entering. If you see this scene, it is pretty much similar to Dark Knight Rises, where the explosion happens in the stadium. If you see that, it's pretty much similar. So there's also a reference with Dark Knight Rises. And then there's also the final scene where Pattinson and Washington, they're discussing about a plane crash. If you see this scene, they're actually planning this scene. So maybe they are trying to enter into someone's mind or dream or anything. They're trying to planning that scene into some scenario. The same scene that happens when they discuss in Inception, how they are going to build the subject into the dream, or even if the cafe scene where Ariadne and Cobb are discussing how did you come into this dream. So they are pretty much this kind of narratives. If you see, I was when I was watching this trailer, I was into I was expecting this excitement, which there's an excitement, but I cannot ignore this kind of small details that Nolan is trying to show. See, Nolan is a kind of a very detail-oriented director, so he is not going to show any kind of similarity of his new film with other films. If you see Interstellar or Interstellar trailer, it has nothing. It is no way similar to Inception. Inception, if you see its trailer or a film, it is no way similar to Dark Knight Rises and all. They are all distinct in terms of storytelling, in terms of narrative. Everywhere, their scenario and plot are very different. Cinematography is of every Nolan film is grand, beautiful. Music is amazing, story is non-linear, very confusing, but they are nowhere common. In terms of Inception's plot is different. It is very different from Interstellar. It is very different from Memento or Dark Knight trilogy. But if you see Tenet's trailer, this particular second trailer, there are lots and lots of references in terms of his previous films. No, I don't think Nolan will be doing this coincidentally. He has done it deliberately. Maybe there's a bigger play here, which we don't know. He's a visionary. So he is trying to build something where this is a film where all these concepts are already existing or they have discovered, like Inception's dream extraction or bringing subject into the subconscious. Or like Interstellar, where they have already found there's multi dimension and how to use a time as a variant, not as a constant. So also Dark Knight Rises. This might be silly, but they show that from the director of Dark Knight trilogy, and then they show Robert Pattinson in the next scene, because Robert Pattinson is going to be Batman. Maybe I'm wrong at this point of time. But there are lots of references which you cannot ignore. So maybe this is a kind of film where Nolan is building his own sci-fi universe. Who knows? So yeah, that's it. Like I said, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I am over analyzing this thing because I'm a big fan of Nolan. But I couldn't ignore this kind of tiny details because Tenet didn't feel like an isolated film, a trailer. The trailer had a lot of references. Okay, thank you for watching, guys.